Hey, what's up, guys? This is the Double Outlook, and today we're going to be reacting to a video that has gone viral. It is about a Texas valedictorian student who had a graduation speech about abortions, and we're going to be giving you both sides of the story from me, a Republican,
and me, a Democrat.
and here we go.
Highlands, class of 2021, your valedictorian, Paxton Smith.
I'm not usually very good at expressing my gratitude for the people that I care about, but I would like to say thank you to Coach. I think he's had a bigger role in my life than he realizes. Okay. As we leave high school, we need to make our voices heard. Today I was going to talk about TV and media and content because it's something that's very important to me. However, under light of recent events, it feels wrong to talk about anything but what is currently affecting me and millions of other women in the state. Recently, the heartbeat bill was passed in Texas. Starting in September, there will be a ban on abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy, regardless of whether the pregnancy was a result of rape or incest.
Wait, so on this part,
Yeah.
it's actually crazy though at the beginning because this is in Texas. This is a full-on red state, and this woman right here is talking about
Well,
abortions.
actually, I don't
This is a
consider
very
it
strong
a full
topic.
red state anymore.
I mean,
Because,
it's one of the higher up. It's like it's not like California, definitely.
yeah, it's not California like us, but a lot of Democrats are actually trying to flip it, and they also have, Julian Castro, who was a presidential candidate. I just want to ask you, I know, well, what's your stance on abortion? Like, the amount of time that they have right now, do you think that that's too much, too little?
Honestly,
And
wait. So I honestly don't know this, but I have to look up how many weeks are for pregnancy to take place. How many weeks?
it's 9 months.
How many weeks is that?
Um, 4 times 9, so 36. I guess.
36 weeks about.
Yeah.
Okay, so thing about this is that we both see different side things. You see like clump cells, that's what everyone else calls it. I see like that's like a future kid, like that's a kid in the making. So I don't see it as human to do some of those things. I mean, because if we really look at the stats of this, almost 1% is through incest and rape, and the 99% of that is about just being immature and getting pregnant when you don't mean to.
Well, assuming that what you're saying is true, I'd say that. So does that mean that for those cases like incest or rape, you'd support abortion?
In rape and stuff, because this is the thing. If you know
And rape and incest.
if you've gotten raped and you got raped, then there's so many different options you can do instead of waiting on it. Because I get it if you're like, let's say this is like a really high chance of this happening, but if you get kidnapped and you stay there and you get pregnant, that's a whole different story, and that's a really small chance of that happening. But if you do it immaturely, or someone like takes control of you, and this is like a one night thing, you can just like get Plan B or something. I'm not totally against that because you get that police station if you got raped and something. That makes sense. That's right. But if you
Yeah,
wait on it,
we definitely agree on that.
yeah, like even
Right.
if you don't know if you got pregnant or not from it, it's pretty common sense. Just take it anyways, just to make sure.
Okay. Um, I'm not very familiar with birth control, but let's say a woman gets raped, does take a pregnancy test, but doesn't realize that the pregnancy test was inaccurate. 7 weeks later, finds out that she is pregnant. Would you support an abortion in that sense?
Still probably not, based off the fact that it's still like it's going to be someone that like we could be friends with one day. But that's like also a very, very small chance. Let's
But
say,
doesn't the mother also have friends and could also be one of her friends, and her having to deal with the pain already of the traumatic experience of getting raped? Imagine every single day of your life probably for the rest of your life, you're being reminded of that traumatic experience.
I mean, but that's also not the kid's fault, if you understand what I'm saying.
It's not the kid's fault at all, but unfortunately, the mother would still be. Um, how is she supposed to recover?
I mean, either way, you're always gonna be. If you get raped, you're gonna be traumatized no matter what. That's not the woman's fault. That is the person who did his fault. It's not anyone's fault. But that traumatization is gonna happen no matter what. Even if you have the kid or not, you're still gonna be traumatized by that moment. So I don't feel like
don't you think
taking a life.
lasts longer? The trauma lasts longer if you have a kid.
I feel like you'd have even more trauma if you got rid of a
if you
kid.
had an abortion.
If you had an abortion, like if you had an abortion, I feel like you'd have even more trauma knowing that you had to get rid of your child instead of actually giving it a chance at life. You know, if you don't really feel like you can take care of the child, there are many options you can take. There are child planet for you. There's this company that gives you money and support over your child if you don't have an abortion. I know that's a thing. They usually give it at abortion clinics.
And there's child support from the government, right?
Yeah. So honestly, this is like a thing that I can have an opinion on, but also like I don't know how it feels to be a woman. So I'm not gonna say that 6 weeks is too short or too long. I just know that in my opinion, I would not feel comfortable with a human being being taken out of a woman's womb, you know?
6 weeks. That's all women get. And so before they realize, most of them don't realize that they're pregnant by 6 weeks. So before they have a chance to decide if they are emotionally,
To be fair,
physically, and financially.
I mean, if they're getting raped or if they're having,
They should know it already, you
they
know?
should. Well, not that they should know it like by instinct, but I think they should be getting a test or taking.
Yeah, they
therapy.
should definitely be taking pills or something. Because you can, if you say that you cannot afford stuff, then you could definitely go to the police station. You can get it for free if you get raped. So that's also what she just said.
Financially stable enough to carry out a full-term pregnancy before they have the chance to decide if they can take on the responsibility of bringing another human being into the world. That decision is made for them by a stranger. A decision that will affect the rest of their lives is made by a stranger. I have dreams and hopes and ambitions. Every girl graduating today does. And we have spent our entire lives working towards our future. And without our input and without our consent, our control over that future has been stripped away from us. I am terrified that if my contraceptives fail, I am terrified that if I am raped, then my hopes and aspirations and dreams and efforts for my future will no longer matter. I hope that you can feel how gut-wrenching that is. I hope you can feel how dehumanizing it is to have the autonomy over your own body taken away from you. And I'm talking about this today.
So, obviously, most Democrats, their stance on abortion is pro-choice, and
Yeah.
Republicans is pro-life. Do you agree that taking away a right from a woman,
See,
taking away their autonomy?
I'm not a woman, so I wouldn't know how it is to be right, but I know that for a fact that it's not just men supporting this, and people may seem like it's just men trying to take away women's rights, but there's also women that are pro-life, you know? So,
Yeah, of course, but I mean, a lot of like Republicans are really into like the freedom, right? Like that's the patriot thing to want freedom, but aren't you removing freedom from women when you take away their rights?
I mean, but you're also taking away the freedom of the baby.
But in the sense, like the baby hasn't been born yet, right? It hasn't really started life yet.
So, when does life start for you? When do you think life starts?
Here's where the question comes in. Honestly, for me, the life doesn't start until I'd say I know some people say the first heartbeat, but I'd say even later than the first heartbeat. But for the sake of argument, I'll say the first heartbeat. That's much later than was that 2 months is about. They give a little under 2 months.
Because I know some people want to justify that a baby is a baby when it comes out and takes its first breath out of the womb and comes out of the woman. And anytime before
Oh.
that, it's
Well,
not a
I
baby.
think that I don't think that's as bad of an argument as Republicans say it is. I mean, if they haven't come out of the womb yet, they don't even know what the world is like, right?
But the thing about it is that if here, let's take this into consideration. If a woman has to, here are some of the arguments that some women may have when saying that abortion is the reason why there should be abortion. Like there should be a choice. They should either say because it's rape, or it's incest, or they get pregnant at a young age and they can't take care of the baby, or they're gonna die if they have a baby. The thing about having to risk your life for a child is that even if you cannot have the baby and you're gonna die, they will perform like other stuff, like they will have the baby prematurely. This is why babies are born prematurely, sometimes, and they're still able to live. So
They're still able to live. So you think that even if the mother's gonna die, she's gonna have an abortion?
I mean, the thing about it is that they won't die as long as because they can have a C-section at any time. They can take it out. If the baby's gonna kill the woman, then they can do other stuff and just come out of the, you know what?
How? What other options?
They
do
can have C-sections to take the
What does
baby
that
out.
mean?
They come out of the stomach and they cut you open.
Really?
If they're gonna kill the woman, then the doctors will do, well, like they're not gonna let you die. That's like obvious. So
Well,
they're
what if there's no alternative? What if the woman, no matter what, it's either the baby's life or the woman's life?
oh, then definitely you're gonna, if it's the woman's life or the baby's life, you're definitely gonna choose the woman, right?
Yeah,
But
I would.
in those chances, I don't think that's even possible due to the technology we have today.
Well, I think it's definitely possible.
It's definitely possible, yeah. There's nothing's impossible, but what the odds of that is way too high, and well, the chance of it, just because
Well,
of
we don't
if
know this.
yeah,
We don't know
are we gonna be
probability.
doing what's right for millions of people or just one person?
Well, I mean, that's why I think that, I mean, if you're having a law, first of all, I don't. It's obviously not just one person, and it's not saving millions of lives, or it's not. It's not that big of a ratio. It's not 1 to 1 million. It's more. Uh, I will admit it's probably more. Abortion laws will save more lives than it'll kill, obviously, but.
But the fact
Don't you
that
think
there are
that?
sick people in this world that will just do it because they are immature and they just keep doing it, that's just, those people are just sick in this world.
Okay, I can agree with that. But unfortunately, there's no way to like
To
enforce
stop
a law.
that, yeah, you cannot enforce that. So there's always going to be
That's kinda
people
why
like
I
that in
think
this world.
That's kind of why I think it should just be up to the choice of the person who's pregnant.
Even though, like, the abortion laws could happen, but the reason why some people are fighting for abortions is because their stance on religion. And this is why, like, if we do for like stats, then it's definitely sure that there are more religious people, such as like Christians, that are Republicans than Democrats. And this is because certain laws, like abortion laws, which fall more into liberals, and then since well, it depends, because some Christians believe that abortion is okay and it should be the woman's choice, but the most Christians, which is I know a lot about because I'm Christian, they believe that abortions should not be allowed, and you know that
They
for a
don't believe
fact.
that babies should be killed, right?
Yeah, and that's just a fact. More Christians believe in that.
I mean, I think overall the argument is basically what counts as an alive baby.
Yeah,
Right? What counts as a live human?
definitely.
Because,
And people are always gonna have different opinions about that, so you can't
yeah,
enforce one thing on everyone.
I don't think anybody wants to kill babies. I don't
Yeah.
think anybody. Uh, and I don't think anybody wants a raped woman to have to go through trauma for the rest of her life. But I think the middle ground that we don't have is that we
When
can't really agree on what consists as a human being life.
and what is the right amount of time you have. Okay, let's continue on with the video.
Day, on a day as important as this, on a day honoring 12 years of hard academic work, on a day where we are all gathered together, on a day where you are most inclined to listen to a voice like mine, a woman's voice, to tell you that this is a problem, and it's a problem that cannot wait. And I cannot give up this platform to promote complacency and peace when there is a war on my body and a war on my rights. A war on the rights of your mothers, a war on the rights of your sisters, a war on the rights of your daughters. We cannot stay silent. Thank you.
Alright, that concludes our video. To be honest, like I said at the beginning, this is kind of a subject that I'm not really informed about, and I know you're very passionate about it.
Yeah, I'm
I
just
will
sure
take it.
I don't have as much knowledge as women do on this topic, but that's just my opinions.
I think it does not make sense. Like I was saying earlier, like if you don't know by like halfway through, then I don't know what's going on with you, because obviously you're gonna have some symptoms or some changes, right? But I mean, I still think that, I think that women should have rights, and I know that there's so many scenarios where they can't take care of the child, but I do understand why Republicans wouldn't, or pro-life wouldn't want to, kill a baby, for example, 2 days before it's expected to be delivered, So, yeah, I'm glad we had this conversation.
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear your parties or your perspective, and hope you guys enjoyed that. That's the Double Outlook. We might be having an Instagram post on this, just giving a brief summary of information, because if I'm being completely honest, we're uninformed about this. But yeah, there's the reaction from a Democrat and Republican, and thank you for watching.
Peace.